Hello everybody and welcome to my 2020 Christmas special. I wanted to try and do something different. I normally make guitar videos, but I want to talk about every single movie that I've seen this year. Part of the idea of this video is that I haven't done any preparation for it. I haven't researched these, I haven't gone back and looked up the plot of these movies or who is in them, because I really want the quality of the films and the impression they left on me to speak for themselves. So if this was a really bad movie, I'm probably going to forget a few of these along the way, and we're all going to have a chuckle or two. I'm going to try and give a brief description of each movie, maybe who is in it or the plot, and just whether or not I would recommend it. Grab a comfy seat and your favorite holiday beverage. Mine is, of course, Trial by Wombat. So let's get started. First movie, saw it back in January. Harold and Kumar, the first one, not where they go to Guantanamo Bay. It was good. I would recommend it if you like goofy comedies. It was funny. It was funnier than I thought it'd be. It's also interesting being from New Jersey because it's a New Jersey movie, so it's my home state. If you're familiar with the geography of New Jersey, there are some logistic things that they couldn't actually do. Like they made it from one place to the other in 10 minutes, and that's just impossible considering the traffic of Jersey. Bling Ring. This was about these kids in California, these rich kids who go around, they're really bored, and they go around stealing jewelry from other rich people. The most important thing I took away from this movie was that Emma Watson is really bad at doing American accents, and it was really, really funny. She has a hard time with that American R. So you'll watch the movie and forget everything else, and it'll just stick with you how bad her accent was. Hail Satan, ? Or Hail Satan? This was a documentary about the modern satanic temple based in Salem, Massachusetts. And it was a pretty good documentary if you're interested in subcultures and the occult. It was a well-made documentary. If you're interested in the subject matter, I would recommend it. Check it out. 1917. One of the few movies I actually saw in theaters this year for obvious reasons. It was really good. I would totally recommend it. If you like war movies, or if you just like good movies in general, this was all done in one shot and had a really, really intense feeling throughout. Really well done. Would totally recommend you see it. What Did Jack Do? So this is by David Lynch. It's only like 17 minutes long. It's basically David Lynch interrogates a little chimpanzee about a murder or something. He's not a chimp, it's like a little monkey. But David Lynch is interrogating this monkey at a train station about murder, and the monkey is in love with the chicken or something, and then he starts to sing a song. And it sounds funny, but for being only 17 minutes long, it feels like it's an hour long, and it's just kind of stupid, so you can skip it. Bombshell was the movie about the scandals at Fox News, and it was pretty good. It was a well-done movie. I did feel like it was a little surface level. The conclusions they reached didn't really go that deep. It felt like it just ended. Would I recommend it? I guess so. Yeah, it was good. Whatever. Moving on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, so I saw this when I was a kid. Obviously, I loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As an adult, yeah, it was good. It held up. Lost some of its magic. I will say, for there being no CGI in the movie, the actual suits the main four turtles wore were really well made. I don't want to use the word believable because it's about turtles using karate, but the suits looked believable. They looked real. The Craft. I watched this on Netflix on my phone on the way coming back from work once. It's about this girl who goes to a new high school and she feels like an outsider, and she has these witch powers, and she meets up with the group of these other girls who are also witches, and they form a little witch coven, and then the second half of the movie just kind of falls apart, like just stuff happens. Was it good though? Yeah, I'd say so. It was really, really, really 90s. It was a very 90s movie. It had the whole 90s aesthetic, and it wasn't all that bad, so check it out if you like this stuff. Tetsuo the Iron Man. Man, what can I say about this? It's kind of like a superhero origin movie, but a Japanese cyberpunk superhero origin movie. It's about this, well, there's no other way to describe it. It's about this guy who has like a screw for a dick, like the screw drill device, and he drills this stuff. It's really weird. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not for everyone. Should you check it out? If you're into weird stuff, yeah, I mean, it's pretty out there. Under the Silver Lake. This was a fairly decent indie comedy adventure about this guy who lives outside Hollywood, and he sees this girl and he likes her and he wants to see her again, and she disappears, so he goes to find her. And this leads him on a very bizarre quest through the underbelly of Hollywood, and there's this weird twist at the end involving like a temple and an ascension to another realm and sacrifices, and I won't spoil that for you. Yeah, it was good. Check it out. CANDYMAN. Really cool. I liked it. I like horror movies. I like slasher movies. This one was pretty unique. It was interesting because it wasn't the usual setting of a horror movie. This was an inner city slasher. Did his slashing in the ghetto, in a project building. You know, it wasn't white kids in the suburbs of Illinois or something. So, Candyman, definitely check it out. Hancock with Will Smith. Yeah, this movie sucked. Don't watch it. What can I say about it? I don't know. I mean, Will Smith is a superhero and he's kind of washed up, and there's some dude who's his agent. He's like his PR agent, and they have, I don't know, man. The plot was really muddy. I was really trying to pay attention too, and the plot got muddy, and the second act of it fell apart. So just, you can skip that one. Let's see what's next. Hell's Kitchen. Okay, this movie sucked. You can skip it. I think we watched it on Hulu or something. It's about these three ladies whose husbands are involved in the mafia, and their husbands go to jail, so they're left to provide for themselves with the only way they know how. So they start doing mafia-related stuff, doing collections and whatnot, and they end up doing very well and rising in the mafia. The biggest issue I have with this movie, why I really don't like it, is that nothing happens. What I just described to you, these three ladies go into the world of mafia and do very well. That's it. Like, that's the whole movie. You know, it's a mafia movie. I expect some skulls to be cracked at some point. I want some broken legs. I want some people to be shot. I need something. There's no violence. There's like barely any violence. How they do their collections for the mafia is they just walk in and ask for money. People give them the money and they leave. And there's no struggle. There's no nothing. It was really annoying. So I watched this for over 2 hours and I got really bored. So skip it. Don't watch it. El Camino. This was the Breaking Bad epilogue, follow-up, whatever you want to call it, about Jesse's escape to Alaska, I think, or Canada, wherever he went. It was good. It was more Breaking Bad. If you like the story, it was pretty good. I thought it was a little slow, a little long. You also have to be familiar with Breaking Bad, so you can't really just pick this up out of nowhere. And I was a fan of Breaking Bad, and at the end they referenced the kid Brock, who was like Jesse's not adopted son, but like he was father figure to the kid. And I had no memory of Brock because I haven't seen Breaking Bad since it came out, so I was lost when that happened. Watch it if you like Breaking Bad. If you don't, no reason to see it. The Shining. Very good movie. I like Stanley Kubrick movies. I thought it was long, and I'll be honest, it didn't scare me one bit. There were some really cool shots. I thought it was paced a little too slowly for me. See it, though, because it's very iconic. Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. This was really good. I actually liked it better than The Shining itself. I thought the scary parts of it were scary, the intense parts were intense. It had some good callbacks and references to The Shining. It's about these people, I don't know what you call them. They were like the Soul Eaters or whatever. I don't know, they had some stupid name. It follows the main kid from The Shining, Danny. He's Ewan McGregor now. It turns into Ewan McGregor when he gets old. And he's got to protect this other girl who has the Shining abilities. If you like The Shining, you might like this even more. I like this more in general, so check it out. Yes Man. God, what was this movie even about? Who was in it? Zooey Deschanel, and who was the guy? I don't remember the guy. Now it doesn't matter. But it's about this guy, life was kind of going nowhere, and he attends a seminar that convinces him to say yes to everything, and he ends up falling for Zooey Deschanel and meeting this crazy girl. The whole manic pixie dream girl shtick is in this. It was, amusing, forgettable. Would I really recommend this? No. So, don't see it. Sinister 2. This movie sucked. I hated this movie. Do not watch this movie. Sinister 2 was garbage. I hated it. It didn't feel like the first at all. It was like it was handed to someone who this was his first movie ever directing. I was aggravated watching this movie, how stupid it was. Do not watch Sinister 2. Lady Bird. This movie was pretty good. It stars that Irish actress with the unpronounceable name, and she's in Catholic school. It's a coming-of-age story. She does stuff and grows up and then finds out that she loves life, and it's okay. It wasn't terrible. Check it out. I don't know. Who cares? Braid. This movie sucked. Okay, I hate this movie. Do not watch Braid. Braid was absolute garbage. The only reason to see Braid is that it looks cool. It looked like some 60s Pink Floyd music video. Like, really cool, trippy visuals. The story was terrible. I couldn't follow the story. It was really confusing. It wasn't scary. It wasn't suspenseful. I think it was supposed to be scary, but it wasn't. Absolute garbage. Do not see Braid. Drive. Drive was a pretty good movie. It was intense. I'd say it's like it's kind of like a modern Western. It had a really slow build. It was about Ryan Gosling. What is he trying to do, though? I don't know. Something about money and cars. I really don't remember. I just remember it was a very good watch. It had a lot of build-up, a lot of intense build-up, but it was all worth it. Once the violence and the intensity broke out in the movie, it really got going, and it was totally worth it from that point on. Okay, so here are the 4 Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies. They were all on Netflix, so I watched them, and I'm going to try and remember what each one was, because they were all kind of the same. So, GoldenEye was the first one, and that one was pretty good. That was also with Sean Bean and the pen spinning guy, and they went down to South America, and there was like a satellite dish. That was the big finale. What was the second one? I think it was Tomorrow Never Dies. What happened in that one? I don't remember. Tomorrow Never Dies. Let me think. That's the one with like the Steve Jobs villain, right? He was like this guy in a turtleneck. He was supposed to be like Steve Jobs, and they fought on a submarine at the end. I think that was it. It was alright. The World Is Not Enough. That was the third one, I think. And that's the one where he goes to Azerbaijan, and there's like an oil rig or something, and he ends up like losing in an oil pipe. This is all I took away from the movie, apparently. Die Another Day. That was the fourth one, and it's the silliest, but it's also the most fun to watch. I could recommend it on that basis. That's the one where James Bond gets captured in North Korea, gets tortured, and then released, and is just okay within, he just needs to shave and a shower, and suddenly he's back to his normal self after years of torture. I love that part. He ends up surfing on a tidal wave caused by an iceberg, I believe, in the Arctic. There was the hotel made of ice. Halle Berry was in it. There was some really cheesy editing, and a satellite. Of the Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies, I would recommend GoldenEye and Die Another Day. Paid in full. This movie I would describe was like the inner city Scarface or the inner city Goodfellas or something. It was like a story where you follow this group of friends from the time they start to get involved in shady gang and drug dealings to, it's the rise and fall of this group. It was well acted, well done. I would totally recommend this movie. Yeah, check it out. Oh, God. The Killing of a Sacred Deer and Lobster. These are both by this Greek director called Yorgos Lanthimos, I believe is his name, probably messing that up. This director really has his own style. If you see one of his movies, you'll know why. Killing of a Sacred Deer was about this doctor who, he's a surgeon, and he has a relationship with this young boy, not in a weird way, but like he's kind of like mentoring him, yet the boy kind of has this weird influence on his family, and he gives him this curse that he has to kill one of his family members or something like that. So the main thing I remember from this is the acting. The acting was really, really bizarre. I don't know what their directions were for acting on set or anything. I don't know if they were given any directions. They all act very strangely and talked in very monotone voices. That's what I took away from this. Lobster. This was a very bizarre movie. I think it was a comedy. If it was the driest comedy I've ever seen. It was about this guy who is single, and because he's single, he has to go to this hotel where he has to try and pair himself up with someone else in a relationship, and if he doesn't, he'll get turned into an animal, and it's called Lobster because the animal he chooses to potentially be turned into is a lobster. I remember it for the weirdness, not so much the story. Check it out, though. Yeah, it was good. Check it out. Nightmare on Elm Street 1. I see why it's iconic, the whole idea of the Freddy Krueger gets you in your dreams and you can't fall asleep. That's scary. That's a good concept. But the actual execution of it was okay. Thought it was a little long. I never think the human characters in these are that interesting. Like the villains are always way more interesting than the people. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Same concept. There's some kid and Freddy Krueger stalks him and haunts his dreams and kills people. It was a little weird because there were some parts where Freddy Krueger killed people and it wasn't a dream, it was in real life. So when you start messing with the logic of it, it takes me out of the movie. The third one, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. This was the one I think that was Dream Warriors and was about these kids in a mental institution, and Freddy was haunting them, stalking their dreams, trying to kill them. I thought this was the lamest one. This was really boring and stupid. There was one very specific moment in this movie that it went from being okay to being terrible for me.
Check out Tara.
In my dreams, I'm beautiful. And bad.
This is retarded. I can't do this. Would I recommend the Nightmare on Elm Street movies? Sure, they're iconic. At least the first is. Check out the first. Only go beyond the first movie if you really like them and like horror and slasher movies. Otherwise, they're just okay. A Single Man. This was a period piece character study drama about a professor in the 50s or early 60s, and he's gay, and you know, it wasn't as socially accepted to be gay back then, so he had to hide it, and his gay lover died, and he's really sad, and he's just sad the whole movie, and he tries to find happiness in life. I guess he does. I don't know. I didn't really care for it. Don't watch it. High Life. This movie was really stupid. It was slow and boring. I need a drink for this one. The trailer looked cool. Robert Pattinson and some other people are ex-convicts, and they're being shipped somewhere in a spaceship. And that's kind of it. Stuff happens, a lot of them die. Where were they going, and why are they going there? I don't remember. This falls into that sub genre of space movies called the Sadstronaut movies. So like Ad Astra is one, but that was actually pretty good. High Life was just really boring and sad. Don't watch it. Green Room. This movie was awesome. I loved it. Go check it out. It's about this small punk band that's touring the country, and they play at this club filled with neo-Nazis, and they see someone get murdered, and then the neo-Nazis don't let them leave, and they have to fight to get out. It was really good. It was a very confined space kind of horror thriller movie. I really liked it. Really well done. Totally worth watching. Silver Linings Playbook. Gotta take another drink for this one. I think it won some awards or something. I don't know why. Probably something about mental health. I mean, who gives a crap? What was that guy's name? Bradley Cooper is sad, and he meets Jennifer Lawrence, who's also sad, and then they're sad together, and they become less sad by dancing. I don't know. Don't see it. Okay, so the next batch of movies, I often like to watch movies in bundles. Like, I'll pick one actor, one director, and go see all their stuff. So I did a bunch of movies by the director Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is best known for me for directing the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, but I went out and checked out the rest of his catalog, so let's go. The Evil Dead series, Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3. I thought it got better as it went. I thought 1 was good. It had a lot of interesting shots. Most notably was the shot of the evil entity or whatever moving through the woods, like it was like the point of view shot of that entity. Crazy editing and camera angles. The first one didn't have that much substance to me. The second one had more substance, and the third was almost like a parody of itself, but I loved it. It was hilarious. Check out these movies if you like horror movies. The character Ash with the chainsaw hand is obviously iconic, so you should check out where that came from. Evil Dead Remake. It came out in the 2010s. I don't remember who was in it. Generally the same plot as the first Evil Dead movie. I thought it was actually really good. Like, a lot of remakes kind of suck, but this was decent, especially the end. I remember there, like, the blood was raining down from the sky, and the car was flipped over, and the girl was injured. The feeling it gave me was so strong that you should go check it out. Also by Sam Raimi, Drag Me to Hell. Some critics didn't like it, but I liked it. It was about this girl who works at a bank, and she doesn't give a loan to this gypsy lady. So the gypsy lady puts a curse on her. What was the curse? I don't remember the specifics of the curse. It was a very fun ride. Well directed, well acted. There were some funny moments, there were some scary moments. There was a goat at one point. I would totally recommend Drag Me to Hell. The Hudsucker Proxy. This was Sam Raimi collaborating with the Coen brothers, or maybe it was a Coen brothers movie, but Sam Raimi wrote it. I don't remember. He had something to do with it, which is why it's in the Sam Raimi list. It was about this guy who gets a job at a toy company in like the 40s or 50s in New York City. He's kind of a moron. They put him at the head of this company for some reason. He ends up inventing the hula hoop. The comedy in this movie didn't really land for me. I didn't really think it was that funny or that interesting. What's the biggest takeaway? What do I remember from this? I think the very beginning, one of the head board members of the toy company just jumped out the window or something, and that was pretty funny. Would I recommend Hudsucker Proxy? No. Darkman by Sam Raimi. I didn't like it that much. What took me out of it was a lot of the special effects really sucked, and I know it's a weird thing to take points off for, but I think they sucked to the point where I noticed that they sucked, and it took me out of the movie, and then I didn't like it as much. I didn't think it was that original, like as a superhero origin movie. What is Darkman's power even? I'm trying to remember right now. What did he even do? Like, what was his superhero ability? I have no idea. Would I recommend it? Nah, skip it. The Quick and the Dead. Skip this movie. It was stupid. It was a Western about, there's a gunfighting thing in a western town. I don't remember. It was dumb. Life After Beth. This movie was decent. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible. It was a decent movie if you want something to put on while you're having dinner one night. It was about a teenager guy whose girlfriend dies, and then she comes back as a zombie, but the whole world is also being affected by zombies. It wasn't about the rest of the zombie outbreak. It was just about him and his relationship with his zombie girlfriend. It was good. Yeah, check it out. House at the End of the Road. What was this even about? Who was in this movie? I don't remember the girl's name. It was some girl. I don't know. She's gone on to do other stuff. I remember watching it and being like, oh, it's that girl, but I don't remember who it is. What was it about? Girl goes to new town or new high school. Someone's trying to kill her, and that's it. It's a happy ending. Whatever, don't see it. Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, it was good. I mean, I remember back in whenever this came out, a lot of the film school people I knew, they were going crazy about this movie. They thought it was so original. It's really just that Alfred Hitchcock Rear Window movie remade for modern audience. It was good. It was entertaining. I liked it. Beyond me just liking it and being entertainment, it didn't really do much for me. But it's a competently made movie, and you should check it out. A Serious Man by the Coen brothers. This was not their best movie. It was one of their more cerebral, thoughtful, introspective, thought-provoking movies. It follows this guy who lives in the Midwest in the 60s, and he's kind of a loser. Like, no one respects him in life. He just gets crapped on the whole movie by his wife, his friends, his colleagues, his children. No one respects him, and nothing good happens to him. He's kind of just a loser the whole movie, and then a tornado comes at the end or something. There was some deeper meaning to it, like it's supposed to be about the meaningless of life or the absence of God, and I don't know. Check it out if you like the Coen brothers and are a fan of their work. If you're not, you can skip this movie. Hail Caesar, also by the Coen brothers. This movie, I thought, had a really good trailer. The trailers made it look really interesting. The actual movie itself, I thought, was kind of long and confusing. I didn't know who the main character was. So what happened in the movie? It's generally about communism in the Hollywood industry. Josh Brolin plays a detective. I don't know. Don't see it. The movie's stupid. Swiss Army Man. I really liked this movie. I thought it was funny and kind of had a deeper meaning if you want to look into it. It was entertaining and had some substance. It had some... Daniel Radcliffe plays a corpse, and this corpse has many uses. He's not just some dead body lying on the ground. He can do many things, like, for example, fart. He can fart so powerful, you can launch stuff out of him or ride him like a jet ski. You can also put rocks in his mouth and jump on his chest and shoot them at birds so you can eat the birds. The general plot of the movie is Paul Dano is on a deserted island about to kill himself, and he sees Daniel Radcliffe as a corpse wash up onto shore. They go on a wonderful adventure of survival and self-discovery throughout the woods, and then you realize I don't want to spoil the thing because I actually liked the movie, there was some backstory to Paul Dano and his life before being on this deserted island. It's an oddball movie, but I would totally recommend it. Oh my god, okay, where are we now? Salt with Angelina Jolie. This was about Angelina Jolie is a sleeper agent, a Russian KGB sleeper agent sent to the US to do, evil communist stuff. Salt really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It looked really generic, and it kind of was. Like, we've all heard the sleeper agent plot before in Manchurian Candidate and other movies like that, but it was well made and entertaining. It was kind of like, it felt like 24 or something. It was really fast-paced. Go check it out. Uncut Gems. That movie was with Adam Sandler, plays a diamond dealer in the Diamond District of New York. He made some bad deals and there's some shady people after him. It's a wild ride. The movie will leave you feeling very stressed out, but it's good. Check it out. Good Time, starring Robert Pattinson, made by the same guy who made Uncut Gems, I believe. And if it's not, it feels exactly the same. Uncut Gems and Good Time have a very similar feel. Good Time is not as good as Uncut Gems, but is also worth watching. It had a very stressful and intense and feeling where the plot kept moving and you kept going along with this character on this crazy ride throughout his night. Robert Pattinson plays this guy who robs a bank, and his mentally handicapped brother is in a hospital and he tries to break him out. Uncut Gems and Good Time are both good. Check them out. I Am Divine. This was a documentary about the late drag queen Divine. and it was very well made. I would recommend checking it out if you like history, if you like social commentary, history and culture. It's worth checking out. I remember my family had a VHS of the Divine movie Pink Flamingo. Though I haven't seen that movie yet, I always remember seeing Divine on the cover, which is why I checked this out. American Anarchist. So this was a documentary about the guy who wrote the infamous book, The Anarchist Cookbook, which teaches people how to practically rebel against society by building bombs and other makeshift stuff. And it ended up being a controversial book because some people use the information in this book to do bad things. Probably some people use this stuff, the information in this book, to help themselves or to do good, because there is a lot of, besides making bombs, there's a lot of practical information in this book. I thought it was a well-made documentary. The thing that I didn't like about it was that the interviewer, the host of it, was really biased. He was really biased in the sense that he came to the interview with an agenda and wanted to try and pin the author down as like, oh, you wrote this book to do evil. You're a bad person. Do you feel regret? You should feel regret. And I remember watching it. I'm like, you're really being unfair to this dude. Just ask him questions and let the content speak for himself. So I take off some points for the objectivity of the makers of this, but is it worth checking out? Sure. Go watch it. They'll Love Me When I'm Dead. This was the Netflix Orson Welles documentary about when he made that crazy movie The Other Side of the Wind, which I haven't seen yet. I didn't know much about The Other Side of the Wind before this. I've only heard of it. This ended up apparently for Orson Welles being one of those crazy projects that he never finished because the idea was too big and he kind of went crazy making it. When he also died, that's why he didn't, finish it. Yeah, it was good if you like film. The reason not to watch this is that it's about a very niche subject. It's not a very well-known movie, and it's about the making of that movie. So if you like Orson Welles, check it out. If you like documentaries, a well-made documentary. It's weird, though. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. S is for Stanley. This was a documentary about Stanley Kubrick's personal driver and chauffeur throughout his career. And he has a lot of crazy stories about Stanley Kubrick and his artistic method and the making of these movies. I like this documentary and would recommend it. And the best part I felt about it was that the main guy, Stanley Kubrick's, I don't remember his name, but Stanley Kubrick's driver, who was narrating the whole thing, he's this really friendly old Italian man. He's very, very casual, very gregarious, has a lot of fun stories, and he's so unassuming. You would never assume that he was the right-hand man of one of the most famous directors of all time for like 40 years. Blade, the vampire movie with Wesley Snipes. Yeah, this was good movie, good action movie. You can tell the influence this had on movies like The Matrix, particularly with its visual style, and there was slow motion, everyone was wearing leather, it had this techno music playing. Really cool, good action movie. Go watch it. She's the Man. Who is in this? I think it was Amanda Bynes goes to this school. She wants to win a soccer tournament, so she poses as her brother. I don't think this movie could be made today because of some of the gender-bending humor. It was lighthearted. It was fun. It was actually funnier than I thought it'd be. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. It's a teen movie, but it was a good one at that. So if you're a teenager, I don't know why you're watching my channel, but, check this out. Saved. This was that comedy about the kids at the Catholic school, coming of age story. Macaulay Culkin's in it. Susan Sarandon's daughter is in it. It was funny. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was. I remember seeing this on Comedy Central as a kid on TV, and it didn't hold up as well. It was okay. Yeah, I skip it. Okay, the Twilight series, the Twilight movies. I need to take a drink for this one. Okay, the biggest challenge for me here is going to be remembering what the difference is between them. So, let's go down the list. Twilight 1, that's where they meet, and the whole movie looks really blue, and it's slow, and everyone's sad, and it's stupid. Twilight 2, that's the one where Edward or Bella, I forget, go to these vampires in Italy that are the Volturi. They're like this ancient order of vampires, or who gives a crap. And I don't know what happened. Twilight 3, that's the one where these bad vampires try and attack the main people or try and get Bella or something. Twilight 4 Part 1. This was the movie where I think for the first hour, there was absolutely no plot. It was really boring because Edward and Bella went on their honeymoon and literally nothing happened. And it set up Twilight 4 Part 2, which was the battle between the bad vampires and the good vampires, and the werewolves were there too. I remember that set up this really big epic battle, and I was finally getting excited, like, oh, maybe something will happen. But no, nothing happened. The weird vampire girl touches the bad guy, and she creates this vision before the battle happens that you're gonna lose this battle, so don't fight us. So they don't fight, and everyone goes home, and that's it. I'm glad I saw this series, so I finally know what it's about, but this was a massive waste of time. Do not watch these movies. Oh, god damn it, we're still going. Wish Upon a Star. What was this about? It was a kid's movie where I think two girls who are different swap bodies. It was very 90s. Don't watch it. Good Boys. This was about those teenage boys who did something, and it was supposed to be edgy, and it was kind of funny, I guess. Maybe got like one laugh out of me. It was okay. I don't know. You don't have to see it though. Frost Nixon, or Frost/Nixon, however you want to say it. This was about a journalist who interviewed President Nixon after the Watergate scandal and after he's no longer president. And it was well made. It was a good 70s period piece movie, good drama. It didn't say much more than what was on screen, but it was well made. Go check it out. Red Dragon. So I've seen this movie before, but the reason I'm putting it on this list is because I haven't seen it in like 15 years. So I don't remember a lot of the details. I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, but it held up really well. Acting's great, writing is great, editing, plot, love it. Really creepy. Solid movie. Go check it out. Man, I'm getting tired of talking. Okay. The Mummy 1 and 2 with Brendan Fraser. I watched both of them. The Mummy 1 was definitely better. It's a fun family action adventure movie. Holds up well. Pretty good. Mummy 2 was not as good. It got too ambitious. It was too long. The CGI for the Scorpion King when The Rock came out was terrible. It was really bad. So if you're wondering which movie of the Mummy series to watch, check out the first, not the second, not the Scorpion King, or not the remake with Tom Cruise, because that was also garbage. Vivarium. This was a movie with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots. I think that's how you say her name. They're looking to buy a house, so they go to this weird development that apparently aliens run and they can't get out of it. This movie would have worked really, really well if it was a Twilight Zone episode or a Black Mirror episode. It would have been really cool, but I don't think as a full-length, almost 2-hour movie, this holds up. They stretched some stuff out way much longer than it needed to be stretched out. And when the craziness finally broke, like when you saw that this guy was an alien and there's some alternate universe under the street, that didn't really go anywhere. How did it even end? I think they both died. I felt like there was a lot more going on, like the concept was cool, but they didn't expand on it enough. Or even really at all. It was just these people trapped in the house, and that was it. I would say check it out because I like movies with interesting concepts that are sci-fi in nature. 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag. It was funny, got some laughs out of me. I watched this late at night with a drink in my hand one night. What was it about? Joe Pesci plays a hitman who has to deliver to a mafia boss 8 heads in a duffel bag as proof that he killed these people. There's a bag switcheroo at the airport, and this other nice guy takes the bag on a family vacation with his in-laws, and hijinks ensue. It was funny. It was a good movie. Would I watch it again? Probably not, but check it out. The Invisible Man, starring, what's her name? What the hell is that girl's name? It was about this lady who is married, I think, to this like really rich technology guy, but he's really controlling and a bad person, so she flees, and then apparently he kills himself, but he's not really dead because he's wearing his invisible person suit and he stalks her. This was a very well done movie. It was scary, it was intense, the acting was good concept. I would totally recommend The Invisible Man. Hubie Halloween. This was the Adam Sandler Netflix Halloween movie. So the humor in Adam Sandler movies can be really juvenile and stupid, but they make me laugh. And that's exactly what they're supposed to do. And on that basis, this movie succeeded. What I'm trying to say is that critics are going to hate this, but I laughed my ass off watching this movie. So would I recommend this? Yes, if you're in the mood for a laugh. I gotta pick up the pace a bit. Hellraiser 1 and 2. This is a horror movie series that I've just started watching. Hellraiser 1 was really cool. I liked it best for the visuals and the concept. The actual plot of Hellraiser 1 was kind of stupid. I didn't really like it. So if you're gonna watch the Hellraiser movies, you watch them for the special effects and the spectacle and the visuals. Don't watch them for the plot, because the actual plot of these individual movies gets really muddled and it's kind of lame. And the acting is kind of lame too. But the visuals are out of this world. When I watched Hellraiser 1, I was actually kind of surprised because the iconic character Pinhead and his band of Cenobites are only in it for about 2 minutes. Really, maybe 5 minutes at most. The rest of it, hey there. Well, go check out Hellraiser. Hellraiser 2. The plot got even muddier and was weird, but the concept was even bigger and the visuals were even cooler, which is why you watch these movies. So, if you liked Hellraiser 1, check out Hellraiser 2. If you don't like scary movies or gore and violence, don't watch this. I'm getting tired of this. The Addams Family, the 90s remake Addams Family movie. This was good. I liked it. Would I watch it again? No, but check it out. Black Box. What was this even about? This was about that guy who loses his memory. And, no, Black Box was really lame. Don't watch it. Nocturne. This was about that girl and her sister who are trying to get into a music academy, and one gets possessed by an evil spirit or stuff. I don't know. Would I watch it again? No, don't watch it. House of a Thousand Corpses. So I started watching a couple of Rob Zombie movies. House of a Thousand Corpses was annoying as hell to watch. He has a very specific style, a manic way of editing. You felt crazy as a viewer while watching this, which I guess is the feeling he was going for. But I didn't really like any of the characters, and they all died, and that was it. You can skip House of a Thousand Corpses. Also by Rob Zombie is Lords of Salem. I actually really like this movie. Lords of Salem felt like it was by someone completely different, but it was also a Rob Zombie film, and I really, really like this movie. It had a very slow, I don't want to use the word again, but cerebral, atmospheric, slow burn of a build to the horror. And some of the visuals were out of this world. It's about a lady who is Rob Zombie's wife in real life. I forget the character's name, but she is targeted by a group of witches, and this lady is slowly being groomed and hypnotized in a way to become the vessel to bring birth to these witches' lord, their king, their Satan, underworld king, whatever. Really good movie though. Interesting. Check it out. Trick or Treat, or Trick or Treat. This was the horror anthology. I think it was based off a comic book series or something. I don't know. I've never read the comic book series. Was it good? Yeah. Would I watch it again? Probably not. I felt like the movie was too all over the place. If it stuck with one of the many storylines and just developed it out and fleshed it out more, I thought that would have been really interesting, but it bounced around too much, and meh, don't watch it. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. I thought Jeepers Creepers 2 was way better. Jeepers Creepers 1. Jeepers Creepers 1. Jeepers Creepers 1 is about this brother and his sister who are driving somewhere, and they see this guy dumping bodies down a well, and they say, oh, let's go back and check it out. The thing I liked least about Jeepers Creepers 1 was that the characters made some really, really, really stupid decisions. Like, unbelievably stupid. And that took me out of the movie. Jeepers Creepers 2 was a lot more fun and better of a movie. So if you're going to watch one of the Jeepers Creepers movies, watch the second one. The original Night of the Living Dead. This movie is iconic, and for a reason. It was really well made. It was well paced. It holds up really well for being a 50-year-old movie. Check it out. It's a classic movie. Scanners. This movie was okay. I've seen better sci-fi movies. I like the concept of this. The biggest thing anyone remembers from the movie Scanners is the heads exploding. That the scanners can make other people's heads explode with their mind powers. But only one head exploded in the movie. Only one. I was hoping for heads popping left and right, and I didn't get that. And the main actor really, really sucked. But would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. Assassins. This movie was about Sylvester Stallone and... what's his name? Antonio Banderas. They're two assassins hunting each other. I'm a big fan of the Wachowskis, and this was, I believe, the first script that they actually got sold to be a movie. However, it went through significant rewrites from the studio, to the point at which they didn't even want their name on the final credits, yet it's still there. It was a good movie. I would recommend it. Poltergeist. There's a lot of famous scenes and lines and imagery from this movie, but I thought it was really lame. It's about a family that lives in a house that is haunted by spirits because it was built over a Indian burial ground or something. The spirits are haunting and disturbing the family, so much so that one of the kids gets sucked up into the spirit realm, and the family has to try and get that kid back. The biggest thing I remember about this movie was that the medium they brought in was this little midget lady with a southern fried biscuit accent. And she comes in like, "Y'all daughter lost in the other mansion?" Her accent reminded me a lot of the character Dusty on the show Paradise PD, if anyone watches that. Would I recommend Poltergeist? Yes, just to see the iconicness of it, to know where these references come from. Did I actually really enjoy it? No. Basic Instinct. This was good. It was like a neo-noir with Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas thinks Sharon Stone murdered someone because she writes books, and there was a murder that took place just like one of the books she wrote, so they thought it was her. I don't remember if it was her or not. There was a lot more nudity in this than I thought there would be. This movie was very risque, even for the time. I mean, it's almost 30 years old. Very, very scandalous. Would I recommend it? Yeah, it was a good movie. Leprechaun. What good can I say about Leprechaun? Leprechaun was about a girl and her father who moved somewhere like South Dakota. A girl played by Jennifer Aniston. I think this was like her first major movie role. Jennifer Aniston's character and her father are stalked and attacked by this little leprechaun. It was a really corny, kind of lame movie, forgettable. Most memorable because it was a slasher movie where the villain's a leprechaun. That right there will make you remember it, but was the actual movie good? No. The leprechaun was played by Warwick Davis, who played my favorite Ewok, Wicket, from the Return of the Jedi movie, so that was notable. Don't watch it. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Okay, this was an Adam Sandler movie. Could not be made today, but it made me laugh. Adam Sandler movies make me laugh. Are they high art? Not by any means, but I thought it was funny. Moving on. Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick movie. Many famous scenes and shots from this. I saw this when I was a kid, but didn't really remember it, so I watched it again. It was good. There's some kind of deeper meaning to it. I thought it was a little long. I got a little bit bored around the time when he went into the Correctional Institute to try and be reformed, but overall it was a very good movie. Worth watching if you have the stomach for it. Climax. This was a movie by filmmaker Gaspar Noé. I might have butchered his name there, I'm not sure. Climax is one of those movies that is feeling over substance. It didn't have much of a plot. The plot is that there's these people in a dance school and they're having a party, and someone spiked the punch bowl with LSD or some kind of drug, and they all start tripping out and having a really bad time. A bunch of them get hurt, a couple of them die, and that's kind of it. Check it out, again, if you have the stomach for this kind of madness. It's a really weird movie. Y tu mama tambien. It means and your mother also. This is a Mexican movie. I probably butchered the title. It was good. It was a coming-of-age movie, so I watched this because you always see this movie on lists of like greatest movies ever, greatest movies of the 2000s. Yeah, it was good. I don't know why it's on the greatest movies ever list. It really wasn't that good to me. It was generally about these two boys. They're not really mature yet. They just want to meet girls, go on adventures, and have a good time. And this older lady tags along with them on this road trip, and they learn stuff about life and love and live their lives. I remember the ending had a very European art film feel to it because the lady died, and they're like what does it mean? What does it tell us about life and love and freedom and ourselves? And that was it. Would I recommend this? No. Freaky was one of the few movies that I actually saw in theaters this year. It's a cross between Freaky Friday and Friday the 13th. It's about a serial killer type who's stalking this group of high school students. The main girl ends up switching bodies with the serial killer, and it's funny because Vince Vaughn, who's the serial killer, has to act like a little girl, and the little girl gets to act like a serial killer. So you get these two people playing opposites. Freaky was good. I liked it. It could have been really corny and lame, but it wasn't. It kept me entertained throughout. It was a good movie. Good time. Watch it. Good. Check it out. Mandy was a movie by, what's that guy's name? Panos Cosmatos, I think. He's got a cool name. And he also made Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is really weird. Nicolas Cage and his girlfriend or wife, Mandy, live in the woods, and this group of crazy, drugged-out Jesus freaks stalk them and attack them, and they kill Mandy, and then Nicolas Cage goes on a revenge quest and kills all of the Jesus freaks, and that's the whole movie. The reason to see it is because of the stunning, crazy psychedelic visuals. It's a very visually intense movie, and it starts off pretty slow, but does pick up its pace and is worth the watch. So I would recommend this. Logan's Run, starring Michael York, and I don't know that girl's name. A futuristic dystopian future sci-fi movie. I feel like I've seen the plot of this several times before. This movie was very ambitious, I'll give it that. It took me 4 or 5 sittings late at night to make it through this. The special effects and set pieces were really obviously set pieces and didn't hold up too well. It came out in the mid-70s, but because of the way it looked, I felt like it came out in the early 60s, so like maybe 15-20 years earlier than it actually came out. It didn't hold up that well. Still though, it was a fun ride. It was paced well enough. Would I recommend Logan's Run? Yeah, sure. It's not amazing, but it's worth seeing once. If you're a fan of the genre, check it out. If you don't like sci-fi movies, you can skip it. The Endless. This was by a pair of directors who work together. Can't remember their names right now. It's about 2 brothers who escaped a UFO death cult when they were kids, and one of them wants to go back to get closure on their situation because they're not happy with their life. It's a fairly complicated plot to try and explain. I think the movie had some deeper message about not letting stuff control you and like breaking out of your cycles and whatever. Was it good? Yeah, it was good. Considering the budget seemed really low. It was mostly shots of people just walking and talking in the woods or the desert. Despite that, it was pretty good. Good concept. I liked it. Watch it. Barry Lyndon, a Stanley Kubrick movie. Barry Lyndon was a very long movie. It was like over 3 hours, I think. It was a period piece drama about Barry Lyndon is kind of like the social chameleon. He's like really a nobody. And he sneaks and weasels his way into the upper realms of society and then dies. And that was the end. It was mostly notable for its really cool cinematography. Apparently, Stanley Kubrick worked with NASA to develop special camera lenses so they could shoot the movie exclusively with natural light and candlelight at night. Didn't actually use any production lights, just shot with candles at nighttime. The last movie, The Talented Mr. Ripley. This was really good. I would totally recommend this. Not many people know about this movie. Matt Damon plays Mr. Ripley, and he is this social chameleon type, sociopath in ways, because I think he ends up killing people. The main character befriends these rich people by pretending to be someone he's not. Really cool movie. Great acting. I don't know, watch it. I'm tired of this. That was every movie I've seen in 2020 so far. I know there's still just under 2 weeks left in this year, and I'm probably going to see another movie or two between now and then, but I just wanted to make this because it's my channel, and who gives a crap? So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, everybody. I'm going to be making some more videos soon, so that concludes this really long random video. So, have a good night.